So, the Nike Zoom Air Winflo 7s. Should you guys be running in them? Let's take a look. Right, so Nike say that this is built for longer runs. It is a lightweight shoe and it is designed with extra airflow in mind. It's also designed to be extremely durable and responsive. These shoes come in at £90, which I think is an absolutely wicked price, especially for a Nike shoe. Often they're over the £100 mark, so £90 is a wonderful price for this shoe. Let's talk about all the things that I like about this shoe. Okay, so the first thing I love about this shoe is the midsole, because the cushioning on it is really, really good. And it's also a very responsive shoe. The midsole on it has just got so much cushioning that you have a really soft landing, but it's also really, really responsive. You can get a lot out of this shoe. So Nike say that it's designed for longer runs, and I've done a 50k in these shoes and it was brilliant. Loved it, really happy with it. But I've also done tempo runs in these shoes. I've done speed sessions. I've done a hill session where I was doing hill sprints in them, and I thought they just performed really well across the board. It didn't seem to matter what kind of run I was doing in these shoes. They performed really well. So that brings me on to the second thing that I love about these shoes, which is the versatility of them. They just work wonderful in so many different situations. Like I said, I have done a 50k in them. I would happily take these shoes on pretty any distance run. I wouldn't mind whether if I woke up in the morning and my training plan was a fast 5k, I'd happily jump in these shoes. Or if I woke up and on my training plan it said I had a 20 miler easy, I would be happy to take this shoe. So another thing with this shoe is just the fit of it. It is quite wide in the toe box here, which is nice. I have quite wide feet and I find this shoe fits me very well. It's nice, my foot gets in there snug. The upper hugs my foot quite well and keeps it very stable. They are a really stable shoe. That's something that I've really been happy with. I've got a lot of hills around here where I run. So I find something that I really look for in a shoe is that when running downhill there's a lot of stability, especially in the upper, and it keeps my foot in place. I don't like it when the tread binds but the upper doesn't. So these are a great shoe because they do hold your foot in place really, really well, and they just give you that stability for when you're running up and downhill. Okay, so let's touch on a couple of dislikes for the shoe. So my first dislike is the laces. The laces are quite wide and they're good to grip, they're good to tie up. The only thing I've found is that they do come undone often. I would say every run over 5 miles I've done in these, at least the laces have come undone at least once. And that's a little bit annoying. It's just one of those things that you don't always want to be going down retying your laces, do you? Especially if you go out on a cold day and then you haven't got any gloves and you get cold. Like, the laces are good to grip and tie, but still on a cold day you don't want to be redoing your laces 3 to 4 times on a run because it's just a pain. My biggest dislike about these shoes is the tread. The outsole on these shoes I've just found is a little bit of a problem. So in the dry, absolutely fine. I use these for road running, and in the dry have no problem. Up steep hills, down steep hills, on the flat, curbs, anything. Doesn't really seem to phase it. But as soon as the tarmac is a little bit wet, yeah, these shoes just lose all grip. I've been running up semi-steep hills, not very steep, but that are damp, and just lost all traction and had to stop and walk and been just slipping. It's like almost like I'm on ice. Really bad. And at one point where I was worried about getting injured because I thought I was just going to fall. That is the biggest problem with these shoes, is just that this tread is great in the dry, but as soon as you get it in the wet, any damp ground, I would take this shoe off and run barefoot. That is the only thing. So if you do live in an area where it's constantly raining, this may not be the shoe for you. So then another dislike, I'm going to call this a half dislike, because the toe box, I do like the toe box because it's very wide. The only thing I don't like about it is sometimes when it collapses across here, this can dig in to your big toe. I find it doesn't happen all the time. If I have a route where I run a lot of downhill, I find that my foot can maybe slightly slide forward a little bit in the shoe, and then it starts to happen a lot. But what I do find is that once you start to get that rub, it's really hard to get rid of it. You have to sort of take the shoe off and put your foot back in and retie and adjust, just to make sure your foot's really comfortable in it. But on the whole, my foot is usually extremely comfortable in these shoes. It's just every now and then I get that little problem there. So who would I recommend this shoe for? So I would recommend this to a lot of people actually, because I think it's a really, really versatile shoe. So I can recommend it to many, many people. If you are an ultra runner and you want to take on 50Ks, you want to take on 50 milers, if you're on the road, this is a brilliant shoe. I'd happily run a marathon in this shoe. As I've said, I have run a 50K in this shoe. I think it's great because it is lightweight, it's got a lot of cushioning, it is responsive, and it's also got these perforations up here which allow a lot of airflow to the foot, so you don't get too warm in these shoes, so you can wear them for a long time, which is very nice. But also, because they are so responsive, I'd happily take these on a 5K time trial. I'd jump in these for a quick run because they're a great shoe. They're so responsive, and again, that cushioning, you can really go for a hard effort, have a nice amount of cushioning, but still have the responsiveness there, and they're not a heavy shoe. So I'd recommend these shoes to a lot of people, and at the £90 price point, I just think you can't go wrong. Also, Nike say that these are meant to be extremely durable. Now, I have run 240 miles in these shoes. I track all the miles I run in every pair of shoes, and I checked earlier today, I've run 240 miles in them, and other than being a bit muddy, because I run down country lanes and often have to jump in the hedge to avoid tractors and things like that, they're in good nick, really good nick. And after 240 miles, which really is half the life of a shoe, so these are essentially 50% worn, because you want to change your shoes about every 500 miles. These are doing great. I think I could probably get 600 miles out of them. So overall, a really, really good shoe. I got this shoe on sale, so I got it for 50 quid, and for £50, I think this is probably, for the money, the best shoe I've ever bought at that price point. There are other shoes that I prefer, but they're not £50, unfortunately. I wish they were, it would be brilliant. But yeah, overall, a really, really good versatile shoe. So if you want to run an ultra marathon, but also set a 5K time trial, and you don't want to have multiple pairs of shoes, check these out, because I think they could do wonders for your training and your wallet. Let me know what you think, guys. If you've run in these shoes, put me a comment down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I've got a few more shoe reviews coming, also a pack review for the running pack I use, and I'm going to be talking about hydrating on the run. I'm going to be talking about fueling for your run. I'm going to talk about things like double run day, how to get more miles into your training plan. Also, I've got the weekly videos going up, and if you want to check out my crazy idea of running 100 miles whilst towing a drum kit, please subscribe and watch the training videos, or you can click one of the videos here, which I'm going to put up now. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the review. Go grab yourself some Winflo 7s. They're a really good shoe. I shall see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.